everybody. We are back here live on the stage show here. We've got Tom Hewitt here to tell us all about Silent Hill Downpour.
That's right.
You know, the Silent Hill series has been around for a long time now, and it seems like as time has gone on, we're seeing some different takes on the franchise.
Right.
How do you guys go about approaching this project to make sure that you maintain what makes Silent Hill, but also adding a new angle on it?
Yeah. Well, Silent Hill, as you said, is a long-running franchise, and we have done a lot of changes. What we wanted to do with Downpour was really get back to where it started. So it's a very story-based, story-dependent franchise. So we started with thinking about the themes, what we wanted. We wanted to go back to a simple thesis that if you just heard what it was kind of about, you'd be intrigued. So the first game was your daughter's lost in town, find her. The second game was your wife's in town, oh, and she's dead. So we started with a good theme of you're a convict, your prison bus gets wrecked outside of Silent Hill, and so you wander into town. And so starting from there, we just developed the character, what he'd encounter from there, all based on the story. So we're really trying to do that and take it back to where it came from. Okay,
so we've actually got a little trailer going on right here. Can you give us a little developer commentary?
Well, this is a pre-E3 thing we did before the show, so I actually went to Toronto to see the movie. So you're actually going to see some of the people from the movie talking here, and we have some footage from the game interspersed. You'll see a little bit of combat, but the combat, we really tried to make it not the focus of the game. We did that with Silent Hill Homecoming, and it wasn't really well received. So we tried to dial back the action a little bit. But in the old games, combat was clunky because the controls were bad. And obviously we don't want to go back to having terrible controls and try to make that work.
Right, exactly.
So we've tried to work it so you don't have an arsenal of weapons. You're kind of limited to what you can grab around you in the surroundings. You can pick up a chair, you can pick up a bottle, you can pick up a crowbar is probably our strongest weapon. And you have to fight with what you have there. You don't have a big inventory. The weapons will break, and then you kind of have to scramble for something else nearby.
All right, so we've got a number of audience questions coming in here, if you wouldn't mind answering a few of those. Matthew from Quebec is wondering, is there anything that influenced this project outside of the Silent Hill franchise?
Yeah, I mean, every book, movie,
right.
Graphic novel, anything that we've seen kind of goes in. Some of the things we watched during the production of the game, Walking Dead was a pretty big deal. Shutter Island, the film, was good. Just, I mean, anything that kind of creeps us out or gets us thinking probably ends up in the game somehow.
All right. AJ from Toronto is wondering, will this game be more geared towards action or horror? What's the sort of balance that you guys are aiming for?
Definitely, it's tipped towards atmosphere, psychological horror, wandering around, just taking in the environment. The unofficial, we haven't calculated it, ratio we're throwing around is 70% exploration, sort of slow burn horror, and 30% action.
All right. Now, Monkey Boy 352 from Texas. Monkey Boy, you've got to give us your real name. I don't want to keep saying Monkey Boy on television or internet television. Will this game be, he's wondering about the layout of the game, linear versus open world. Where do you guys sit?
Well, that's a good question. So the main story is kind of linear. You'll go to key locations, explore those, and the story will develop. But once you get into the town of Silent Hill itself, you could go to your next location in the story, or you can wander around and explore. And we have a number of side quests placed throughout the town that they're optional, but obviously they might factor into your ending or something like that. And you'll learn a lot more about the world as a whole. They flesh out sort of the overall story if you explore them, rather than just Murphy's story.
All right, Alex from Bulgaria is wondering how player decisions impact the story.
Player decisions come back in Shattered Memories on the Wii. That was a really key component. We watched every single thing you did, and we had this huge system of keeping track of it. It's not that in-depth this time, but we are keeping track of your general play style, and there are some key decision points you'll make that will affect what you see.
All right, let's see. Bjorn from Norway is wondering if you could share a little bit on the monster design on this game.
Monster design is crucial for Silent Hill. It's all drawn from the psychology of the main character, because the town sort of brings out their fears and what scares them. So we have a number of monsters. I obviously can't share too much because they're so tied to the story. I will share one that's not playable on the floor. but it is in our trailer. It's called the Weeping Bat, and it's this big, tall, lanky thing, but he walks very crouched and constrained, and that's sort of symbolic of solitary confinement, which is something Murphy might have experienced while he was in prison.
Michael from Nashua, New Hampshire is wondering, I love to play these games, but I get so scared. Any tips to help me be less scared? Maybe
you could have a significant other hold your hand.
Right, hand holding, keep
Right.
all the lights on in the room.
A parent could hug you.
Yeah, get constant hugs. Remember that it's a video game.
Teddy bears.
Yeah, teddy bears. The key is teddy bears. Let's see here. Fabio from Silent Hill is his location, is wondering about replay value.
Replay value. Well, the side quests I mentioned are pretty good for replay value. You're probably going to miss a couple your first time through. You can go back, and again, those flesh out the story, so you get a little more detail. They're also going to unlock some special features on the front end, maybe some interviews or behind the scenes or some trailers. So you can explore to do that. Otherwise, I mean, there's multiple endings, and a lot of the Silent Hill fans love playing 5 times to get all the endings or whatnot. So there's some replay, not as much as a sandbox game,
Right.
but enough for a horror game.
Alrighty. Now, you mentioned monster design a moment ago, but Hafiz from Malaysia is wondering, are there going to be sort of distinct boss encounters?
There will be boss encounters. I can't share too much about them, but at key moments there will be some big baddies to take care of.
All right. Let's see. A lot of people are wondering about, it's sort of a very common question that we get when we open up to audience questions. They're just wondering about the length of the game. I know it all sort of varies on the player pace, and it can change a lot, but on average, do you have an estimate?
Yeah, I generally say if you're going to play straight through and just do the story, like the traditional Silent Hill games, it'll be your 8 to 10 hours, which is about average for the series. But if you really explore town, do all the side quests and whatnot, it can stretch up to 15 to 20.
All right. Hisham from Cairo is wondering about how the soundtrack compares to previous Silent Hill
Okay,
games.
so this is a big thing on people's minds. The series composer up till now was Akira Yamaoka. He left Konami, unfortunately, earlier this year, and so we brought on Daniel Licht to replace him, who was the composer on Dexter, the TV series. So we didn't tell him to copy Akira's style. We didn't want it, that's not really honest, and why hire a guy to pretend he's another guy?
Yeah.
But his sound is very similar to Silent Hill. So while it is his own unique style, it definitely fits in the universe. And, in my opinion, if no one told you that Akira had left, you wouldn't really notice it. It's a good soundtrack. I like it.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks a lot for dropping by. Appreciate your time very much.
Thank you.
Can you remind everybody out there when you're expecting to release Downpour?
Yeah, Silent Hill Downpour will be out this fall-winter time frame for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
Excellent. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. So that was Silent Hill Downpour. Now let's go take a look at a little bit of Tekken.